All right, welcome everyone. Today what I'm going to do is go over the basic slide setup for the walk cycle to make sure that everybody has an understanding of how to set this up on our Kylo rig. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to establish the basic stride length of this character. Okay, so a couple of things about this character. You can change the scale of the leg when you customize this character to a different type. Okay, so one thing that you want to make sure that you change if you need to is the the scale distance may have to be multiplied by the the scale of the leg if you change that. Okay, so right now, if you select the the gear icon and you look over on the side here, you'll see that the left leg scale is 1 and the right leg scale is 1. So I don't have to do anything else. If that's 1, then you're perfectly fine just to uh, keep the math as I'm going to show you, and it will make a difference. If this scale is anything but 1, so say that it's 1.2, 1.5, 2, whatever that may be, then I'll show you how to calculate that scale into the forward motion of the character. Okay, so when we come to that, I will review that with you. All right, so the uh, basic stride is just going to be the two legs going apart. So I'm just going to pull these out. I'm not going to worry about anything else in the body at this time. I'm just going to do the scale here, just to try and get the character skating forward. Okay, so I'm going to look at the translate Z, and I'm going to just use whole numbers. Okay, it's easier to use whole numbers if you can, because you are going to be adding these things together. So I'll just use, let's just use 25, just keep it all really even. Okay, so I'll do negative 25 in the back and 25 in the front. So what that means is there's 50 units between the 2 feet. All right, so just to make this very clear, you have a total number of units of, it's negative 25 and 25, right? So we don't worry about the negative, okay? All it is a total of 50 units, right? So you get a total of 50 units that we need to move our character forward. So basically what we're doing there is if the foot is back like this and this foot is up front like this, your body's here, we're calculating the distance from here to here because that's where the controls are. So the distance between those 2 points, this being 0, is 50 units apart. Okay, that's what we're actually calculating. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to key my character, and I still do key everything when I set this up. So I'm going to set a key on 1. Now, the amount of numbers that you use depends on the speed of your walk. If it's a slower walk, you may have more frames. If it's a standard walk, you may be doing a 12-frame walk. If it's a faster walk, you may be doing an 8-frame walk. Okay, I'm going to just set up a basic 12-frame here to keep it simple, but you would adjust that time based on the speed of your walk. So it's a very standard walk. We're going to go to, if it's a 12-frame walk, that means the cycle goes to frame 12, and then the next contact is on 13. So this is where we're going to put the next stride, right? So I'm going to just key that. And I'm going to literally reverse these feet, okay? So I'm just going to put negative 25 here. And on the other foot, I'm going to put 25. Okay? And the final stride would go, it'd be 12 plus 12 is 24, and then the next contact is 25. So that's where I put the final position. Okay, so I'm going to take this number here, 1, and I'm going to middle mouse drag all the way down to 25, and I'm going to key it. Okay, so you basically get this pattern here. All right, now I'm going to take a look at each foot, and I'm going to determine which foot is sliding backwards at what side. Okay, so you can see from 1 to 13, this foot's sliding backwards. So that means that from here to here, I'm going to want to have an even a continuous speed going from the front to the back. Now, one thing that we tend to do when we walk is we tend to not stop directly at the contact position, but we usually kind of push through the walk a little bit. So if you want to add a few more frames to your push in your back foot, you can do that. And I usually do it through to the down position of the walk. So whatever that may be in your case. In this 12 frame walk, typically you're about 4 frames to the down position. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go to frame 16, and I'm going to actually have this foot push back to frame 16. So I'm going to add a key here, and I'm going to just make that the 25 back. All right, so that actually becomes the furthest point in my walk. Okay, I don't need the 1 and 13 because this is actually going to be the furthest point in my walk going backwards. Okay. Now from here to here, this has to be linear, right? Because we need a constant rate of speed. So from frame 1 all the way to 16 is a constant rate of speed. So it's set up with a linear tangent. From 16 to 25, it can be whatever I want, right? I can have the foot go forward faster, slower, whatever I want to do. And we can make those adjustments as we're building, the passing position and so on, okay? Now we're going to do the same thing on the other foot, okay? So the foot on the other side is starting at frame 13 because that's where the contact is. And it's going to slide back. And we're going to go to the down position for the further push on the other side as well. So if the cycle goes to frame 25, technically the down position would go back to frame 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, just like it would here, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where we're going to want to set that key. It's hard to make that adjustment over on this side of the curve though. So what I do is I usually just extend my cycle out and work it out on this side and then copy it over here, okay? So all I'm going to do is add the 4 frames on this side temporarily. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll just take this and I'll just extend it out 4 frames, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this linear, okay? I'm going to break this just because I can do whatever I want on this side because that's where it's in air. This is perfectly linear now. Okay, so it's constant rate, and it's being pulled back all the way right now to frame 28, right? Our cycle is not going to go to frame 28, but we just did this to kind of figure out where the position of frame 1 will be, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to 25, and I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to insert a key. Okay? Now, one thing that you want to make sure of is that this is still linear. Okay? And when I inserted a key there, it did not change the look of my curve. And the reason it didn't change the look of my curve is because under the, let's see here, it's under keys, under insert key tool. If you open that option up, I have the preserve tangent type turned on. So when I insert a key, it preserves the tangent type, and that's what I want, okay? So it didn't alter the look of the curve there when I set it up. So if I select that, you can see here that it's actually negative 15 at frame 25, which is what frame 1 will be, because my 25 units goes all the way to 28, or 25, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to frame 1. I'm going to just grab this. I'm going to Control-C, copy, and just paste those in, okay? And this gives me my extra movement that I want it to in that cycle. Okay, so it's going to frame 4 now at the right slide. Now I don't need the information on frame 28. That was just to kind of get me this one here on frame 25. So I can just delete this because I don't need it. I've already put it back here. Okay, and I can adjust my timeline back to my original stride or my cycle. Okay, so now I have the feet pushing just past the contact to that down position, going back to contact, pushing just past, and going back to contact, and so on, right? So now I have a constant rate of speed in the slide back, and my feet are skating the way that they're supposed to be. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the character move forward. This technically is going to be built as a treadmill walk, but I'm going to design this so that the base here, the inside ring, and it's called Master 3, is going to push the character forward. And the movement of the base is going to cancel out the slide back position of the feet. Okay, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to delete this far key because I don't need it. I'm looking at Translate Z right here. Okay, and I'm going to go to frame 16 because that's the furthest point of this foot. Okay, you can see that from 1 to 16, that's how far it's actually sliding back on the ground. I want the same thing to happen on this here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually pull it forward to frame 16. And then I'm going to put the total number of units from here to here between those 2 feet, just like we were looking here, from here to here, which is going to be 50 units. And I'm going to put that onto my base curve. Okay, so this guy here. So this tangent will actually be 50 units. Okay, now I'm not going to have a slow in or a slow out here. It's going to be a perfectly straight line. It's going to be a linear line, linear curve, I should say, because we need that to be exactly the same speed and distance that the foot is moving backwards in the walk, right? So as that pulls forward, it cancels out the motion of the back foot, right? Now you can see here that it's flat going beyond that, so right now he's not doing anything. So what I need to do is I need to select this, and I'm going to just cycle it with an offset. Okay, cycling with an offset means it's going to do the exact same cycle, the exact same keys over and over again, but every time it comes to the last key, it's going to offset it by 50 units. Okay, so you want to have your infinity curves turned on right there under view, and then with this curve selected, I'm going to go curves, post infinity, cycle with offset. And you see it gives me this line goes on forever, right? We could also set that up to go reverse if we'd like. Post infinity, cycle offset, it'll go the other direction, right? So we could have this going both ways with our cycle. Okay, so now our character will be locked to the ground as he's moving forward. Now we can design and build everything else about our walk cycle on top of this. But now we know that our character is locked to the ground properly as we work through the rest of the walk cycle. Okay? So I hope that helps you with the basics of making sure that the feet are locked to the ground. You can do whatever you want on top of that. Obviously, you're going to set up your all your information on your waist and your arms and your shoulders and your head, all that good stuff, right? But this will make sure that you're actually locked to the ground and moving forward. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions. If not, have fun animating.